The Prime Minister is dodging questions about the extent of New Zealand's involvement in the US drone program. Earlier on Firstline, he told me that New Zealand didn't play a part in the drone strike that killed a New Zealand citizen in Yemen, but he considers drones to be an effective modern technique, providing the information is accurate. For more on this, Otago University International Relations expert Robert Patman joins me now. Hi there, Robert.
Good morning, Michael.
So, do you think there is sufficient evidence now to conclude that we are effectively part of this drone program? And therefore, if we are, what impact is that having on our international reputation?
Judging by the Prime Minister's statements, both in his interview with you this morning and also in the last 24 hours in media interviews, the Prime Minister has certainly conceded that New Zealand is involved in the information chain which can generate drone strikes. But he was careful to say that, to his knowledge, New Zealand was not implicated in the drone strike last November, which Daryl Jones, the New Zealander, was killed.
Is that involvement going to damage our international reputation and our desire to be on the Security Council?
I think, well, there's two things here. I think, firstly, the GCSB arguably needs greater oversight than it's got at the moment. The Prime Minister appoints the director of GCSB, but he also appoints the Inspector General, the watchdog body, which is responsible for overseeing it. And that is a conflict of interest in many ways. And elsewhere, in other democracies, there is much more separation between the appointment of the Director General of an intelligence agency and the body that oversees it. So that's one thing. But the second thing is, yes, it does have the potential to damage our international reputation when, at a time, we're seeking our role on the Security Council. Why? Well, New Zealand sets great store by its adherence to international law. Drone strikes are of dubious legality. The critics say it's a form of assassination. And so that's one thing. But the second thing is New Zealand sets great store by its ability to present itself as an independent international actor. And one of the sort of criticisms of our involvement, or our indirect involvement in the drone program, is that we may be providing information which culminate in actions which compromise our ability to present ourselves as an independent actor. We have to be very careful here, because already our involvement in this information chain has led to criticisms in Brazil. Remember, Brazil came out in support for New Zealand's application to New Zealand to the UN Security Council. There have been revelations since that we've been involved in bugging the Brazilian government, so it doesn't look good that we're involved in actions against a friend. And the second thing is, we are in a balancing act between the two superpowers, namely the United States and China. And through China's eyes, if we align ourselves too closely to the United States, that could have commercial implications for us in our dealings in China, in the Chinese market.
The revelations about Daryl Jones, the Prime Minister obviously didn't want that to come out earlier. Has it had any impact? Are there any security implications around the fact that it has now been exposed?
Well, I think it does have political implications. The Prime Minister said that he's quite comfortable at providing information which may or may not be used in drone strikes, and no one disputes that many of the chief targets of drone strikes are people who may be described in the Prime Minister's words as very bad people. But the deeper question is this the best way to deal with them? Because we also know that a lot of innocent people are killed in drone strikes, and that in the longer term, drone strikes often have the effect of boosting support for the very forces you're trying to undermine. So that is a big worry.
OK, thanks very much for your time there. It's Robert Patman there from Otago University.